Welcome, beautiful soul, to another episode where we're going to dive into the topic of intuition. This is going to be a very quick episode, but there will be a blog post where you can see some of the journal inspiration and some bonus tips as well. So feel free to look at the description for that link, and let's get started. What is intuition to you? This is one of the first things I'm going to ask you, just to set the intention, to set the energy tone of this episode, because time and time again, this is something that comes up in my life, general life, but especially in terms of business and making choices and taking advice from people. I mean, even now, when I'm listening to different people giving advice about marketing or setting up funnels or automated systems, all these things that we need in a business, intuition still plays a part of it, even though it is a very logical process and a very kind of technical process to put all those things in place. But I always try my best to really tune into my intuition, and I want to ask you how you use your intuition in your life and in your business. Does it even play a role in your decisions? Take a moment to think about that. Maybe there is a recent experience or a past experience where you didn't listen to your intuition and things didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. I know I definitely had many times in my life where the voice of intuition was just screaming at me, and I didn't listen, and I kind of made decisions that I won't say I regret because I still learned a lot of lessons from them, but I could have done things a lot more smoother, put it that way, if I'd listened to my intuition. So I wanted to share also what helps me connect with my intuition, because I think a lot of people say, well, how do you really know if it's intuition or not, especially when it comes to business? I think one of the things that you have to really listen to, and it works for me, everyone's different, is to get to know how intuition speaks for you. For me, for example, intuition is a feeling literally in my belly. Like if something happens and I just feel it as an empath, a highly sensitive person, I feel something's off. My belly just contracts and I can feel that kind of contraction, or I can feel that kind of dip. Hard to explain, that kind of dip in my belly where it's just like, ugh, that sort of sensation. For other people, it's in the heart space. For other people, it's not even a physical experience at all. It can just be a silent vision that they have, or a vision that happens after an experience. So, getting to know your own way of connecting with your intuition and how it speaks to you in your life is probably the number one thing that we can all tune into. And this takes time, but I think the more that you have a conversation with your intuition, the more you can start to really see how it plays out in daily life. What I mean having a conversation is a very simple exercise that I like to do, where almost like the beginning of a yoga class, for example, or the beginning of something creative, I would set an intention. But with that intention, it might be an open ended question. It might be a question that I don't have an answer to. And then I just leave it at that. And I allow that energy to float out. And then during the day, maybe I have internal conversations, very simple conversations with my intuition, like, should I pick this or should I pick that? Or if I'm listening to a podcast or a mentor or a coach, maybe I'll listen to their words and I'll ask myself, does that feel good? Or does that feel right for me? Or does it not? And then I just feel that response. So it's just really getting into the feeling of it, understanding how your body reacts to those active questions. And this is something you can also do in your business. Let's say you have to make choices about certain things, like Just random example, maybe you're doing branding and you're choosing the colors of your website or your logo. You can look at the colors and ask your intuition, okay, does that feel good or does that feel better? And then have the two in front of you, literally, the two color schemes, and then take your time to see what comes up within. It might be a voice, it might be a physical change within you, but just observing, being in that neutral space. The previous episode was actually about AI and why we can make the most of AI and what it can't replace. And I think intuition is definitely, especially during these times, is one of the things that we are going to be challenged to tune into because of the AI era, the technology that we're given. I mean, even now, when I ask somebody to write something up for me, they will use all the AI tools. And then I ask them again, did you write it? And they'll be like, no, actually, I just put a lot of prompts on ChatGPT. But then I feel like, well, I wanted you to write it. Does that make any sense? And the same with intuition. I think a lot of people are relying on what systems or technology or what information they can get from external sources, but not necessarily tuning into internal sources. So, with all of that being said, I want you to think about your business right now. Take a moment to think about your business. Think about anything that you're thinking about changing. I know sometimes when people listen to podcasts about businesses and listen to different advice out there, they're looking for some change. So maybe you're thinking about making a change or improving or leveling up something. Take a moment to think about that. You can even write this down right now. Write down exactly what it is that you're focusing on, which area of your business you're focusing on. And then ask a few questions or write down a few questions that you would like your intuition to guide you with. I gave you that branding example with the colors, so it could be something else. It could be choosing a coach, for example. I know a lot of people now are choosing people to take advice from when it comes to their business. So maybe you're thinking about working with a coach or a mentor. Maybe you can write down some intuitive questions when you're listening to their work or when you're connecting with them to see what feels right for you. Or maybe you already have advice from people around you, um, and you're tuning into that and you're thinking, is this really something I want to follow or not? And as a side note, there have been many times where people have given me advice about my personal business. And even though it didn't feel right, these are some of the examples where I didn't listen to my intuition. I went along anyway. I did what they told me to do, basically, and it just didn't work out. It was something that just did not work out. And for the longest time, even, especially in the beginning with working with other people related to business and giving me advice about which areas I can improve on, for the longest time, I did not really tune into my intuition. I just completely trusted what other people said. And let me tell you this, that in itself is a practice, to fine tune what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Especially in the coaching and mentoring business, it's quite a loud space. And if you like that sort of thing, that's fine. But I'm more of a quiet empath, highly sensitive person. The people I like to tune into are not the people who are using quite strong language and do this and do that and this will make you fast money and that sort of thing. I've never been into that, although I did try in the beginning and it just completely failed. So I've embraced that part of myself, and that's part of the journey of learning about intuition for me. And I'm sure for you, you will have your own personal stories about intuition and what works for you, and really tuning into yourself, um, to make your business an extension of you. You know, And it doesn't matter which part of health and wellness we're talking about. You can be a health coach, you can be a talking therapist, a psychotherapist, you can be a counselor, you can be a massage therapist, you can be a yoga teacher, you can be a lot of different things in health and wellness. So this area is quite big, and that's why I've kept this episode quite general. But the key message I wanted to share with you in this quick episode is that trust your intuition when you're making changes. Trust your intuition in who you want to work with. If you're working within spaces like therapy uh, centers or yoga studios or anything related to health, trust your intuition to see if that place feels right for you. Again, in my personal life, many times I've worked in spaces that did not feel right. And with that came clients that we didn't tune into each other very well for whatever reason. But the environment from the beginning was not right for me. And I didn't trust my intuition. I just felt like this is a beautiful space. It looks the part. It looks quite, it has a good image in that way. And I was worried more, or I was focusing more on that than really what was right for me. So think of different areas in your life and specifically in your business where this counts. It can be the space you're working in. It can be the changes that you have to make in your business, maybe your website, maybe the way you're marketing or your messaging. It could be the niche that you're choosing to work with. It could be the coaches and mentors that you're working with. There are so many areas that we can explore on this topic. So take a moment to write this down in your journal. Which area are you working on? Ask a few questions, like intuitive questions, as if you're having a conversation to your intuition about something you want to know about this. And keep that in mind. So when you're doing your research and you're making changes, ask those questions and see what comes up from within. And then as a bonus, also write down what intuition means to you. How does it feel to you? Is it a feeling? Is it something that comes up from a physical sense, or is it just an emotional sense, or is it a visual sense? How do you tune into intuition? What does intuition feel like to you? I hope this has inspired at least one of you out there to explore this as an exercise. As I said, it's not an overnight thing. It's definitely a whole practice in itself, but this is one of the things I love about health and wellness and growing a business. We learn so much about our own selves through our business, more than we were ever told right at the beginning. It is such a journey. I know everyone uses that word, but it is literally a journey of self-exploration when we are doing our business and making those choices. At the end of the day, our business is a series of choices that we make. Let's make it through a very connected, intuitive choice. Have a beautiful day. Feel free to check the link in the description where I will have journal prompts there. And I will be back soon with another episode. Take care of yourself. Have a beautiful day.